Thanks for having me.
We're in Vegas.
Yeah, man.
Vegas, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all the good conversations happen.
Absolutely.
Hacker Summer Camp. We're here at Black Hat USA 2026. Having a good week?
I am. Honored to be here with you today.
Pleasure to have you. So we're going to get all the insights and scoop on RegScale. Before we do that, maybe a few words about your role and your journey to the CEO of the company.
Sure thing. So I'm Travis Howerton, one of the co-founders, CEO here at RegScale. By way of background, I'm an old national security grunt. Spent a couple of decades serving my country in a variety of roles. Ended up as the first Chief Technology Officer of the U.S. Nuclear Weapons Program. Got to run one of the most stringent security programs in the world and get a feel for what that was like. Went to the private sector and got a feel for that as well. And kind of everywhere I went, I felt like the way we think about compliance and the checklist approach we use to audits, I thought wasn't serving us well as an industry. At the same time, we were watching these trends that were happening, these cloud native technologies that spin up and down, and the idea of describing things in paperwork that goes out of date instantly would go from expensive and frustrating to just stupid as a function of time, like it won't be fit for purpose anymore. At the same time, we're just piling more and more regulations on for third-party risks, for supply chain, for zero trust, for privacy. And so something just had to change, and we thought, well, how can we make compliance move at the speed of your DevOps and your cloud programs? And so we worked on this compliance as code approach. We went to NIST and helped them write a standard that ultimately became OSCAL, the Open Security Controls Assessment Language. Started building a capability for machines to attest to their own state using that standard. Paperwork would write itself. CISOs could focus on operational excellence in cybersecurity and get a lot of their risk and compliance outcomes for free. And so that was the RegScale story. At the sort of rise of AI, we've been adding AI agents that do what humans do in the workflow. I started as the CTO and one of the co-founders. And so I describe myself as a recovering CTO. So while I'm in the CEO chair, I'm still a very technical founder and enjoy the engineering aspect of running the company.
And let's touch on that, because clearly nuclear systems, network security, endpoint security, all the stuff you probably looked after, very, very technical.
Yep.
But in the government, it's no secret that things take a while.
Yes.
And so how did you kind of wrestle with that? Because bringing in technologies and building your own and getting them all to work is a big effort.
Absolutely. So like there's a couple of reasons that government's slow, and it's not because they've got lazy people or any of the stereotypes you hear. Most of the government people I worked with were patriots. They worked hard. They just worked in a system that wasn't very well optimized. You got a dysfunctional Congress who can't ever pass a budget, so that makes their life hard. And then once you do get a budget, you got to buy it. That takes forever with all the rules they got to deal with. And then the last part is before you can even use it, you got to go through all these risk and compliance check boxes. In the FISMA world, 853, authority to operate, that take forever. I can't fix Congress. I don't know that much about procurement, but I know a lot about the last part. And so that last mile problem is the part that we're really focused on helping with and trying to compress 18-month timelines down to 90 days, 30 days, or even less for customers, while actually getting better security on the other side.
And it's not about, it's not about cutting corners.
Yep.
Right? It's just having better insight and the ability to manage that stuff. So maybe talk about how that works.
It actually prevents you from being able to cut corners. So a lot of what the old school approach does is what I call compliance theater. Or like an old general I worked for described it as a mother-in-law visit. You know, you clean the house to a ridiculous standard, you pretend you always live this way, everybody goes through the dance, and then as soon as they leave, the kids destroy your house again, right? A lot of cyber is kind of like that. What we want to get out of is quit polishing paperwork to get to security at a point in time, and let's be continuously secure. Let's put in place the good GRC engineering so that we know our controls are in place, everything's locked down, everything's in the state we expect it to be, and let's just let the paperwork write itself. So let's get rid of this high cost, low value activity, shift that into engineering, which is where sort of the rubber meets the road and sort of thwarting these attacks. And we think that shift is good for the whole industry.
So let's talk about the engineering, because I think everybody wants the easy button.
Yep.
Right? Let me just buy off-the-shelf stuff, put it in place, and off I go. I'm a SOC 2, or I'm a FISMA, or a FedRAMP, or whatever it is, right? We're trying to achieve. The realities of of the world that we operate in, and
Yep.
the need for engineering. What does that look like for you and your team?
Yeah, it's, I'd say there's sort of levels to it. Like, there's no such thing as an easy button. Like, I hate vendors who say you just buy us and we do everything and you're good. Like, that's not the reality. What I'd say is the best plan start with the truth. The truth is you're going to have to react faster. AI is going to compress timelines for vulns. This old school check it once a year, once every 3 years manually approach with auditors to check a box to maintain whatever rep insert you want, your SOC 2, whatever it may be, won't allow you to survive in the future. So what you're going to need is actual real world security. So you got to change that mindset from checklist compliance to more GRC engineering excellence. So it's really that shift that we're seeing, and there's levels to it. Some just need a SOC 2. It's much easier to make that shift if you're dealing with 3040 controls and if you're dealing with like a FedRAMP high or a DoD system. Like, so there's going to be levels and gradients to this. But I just tell people to think like a surgeon. Like surgeons, when you go in, they ask you what's wrong with you, what hurts, right? Just start with the things that are hurting you the most, start automating there, and eventually like you'll get into a healthy state. And so if you can kind of work backwards from the pain is a good way of thinking about like, where do I start? How do I get started in automating? Because it's going to be a journey. You're going to need platforms that help you along the way on that journey, but there isn't an easy button to it, unfortunately. It just requires engineering excellence end to end in how you do these things.
So let's pull a little bit on this pain point, pun intended. Certainly, if you're feeling pain, you might know where to look, maybe not.
Yep.
Right? My back hurts, well, where? What's the cause? Or my knee hurts, what's the cause? It could be a nerve in the back.
Yep.
Also, you may not feel any pain.
Yep.
Maybe something going on still. So how do you help organizations kind of, and there may be other scenarios you want to touch on, but uncover the stuff that hurts and finding the source of it, and maybe uncover things that may not hurt yet, but down the road they might have a problem.
Typically we do some discovery with them and try to meet them where they are. There's always some overlap about what hurts. It's typically one of a couple things, like the things cost too much and they're trying to reduce the cost, or they're not trying to reduce cost overall in security, but they're trying to change the portion of the budget that goes to checklist compliance so they can buy better tools and other things that actually buy down risk. So sometimes it's a cost equation ROI, and we can help them with business case and thinking through that. Other cases, it's more the assurance layer. What they want is real-time assurance to drive risk down. So that's sort of the second factor. So if that tends to be what drives most of the CISOs we talk to. And then the third one is more of a business driver. You need certain reps and certs to do business in markets. If you want to sell to the government, you need FedRAMP. If you are going to process credit card data, you're going to need PCI. There's a variety of these that you need. If we can compress those timelines by 70, 80% for you, then you can get to market faster and grow revenue. So they're either looking to cut costs, reduce risk, or grow revenue. It tends to be the three value drivers, and it's dependent on each customer and sort of what their specific use case is.
And so I want to be slimmer and stronger and more nimble. Common thread across those is probably eat healthy, go to the gym. Right? So there's probably some standard things that you help organizations with. How do you, what's a conversation sound like with the CISO such that they can then translate that into conversation with their executive leadership team, perhaps even a board if they're governed by one, I guess.
Yeah, we just try to set them up for success. Like, if that's the outcome you need, let's work backwards from it, and let's put you technology in place that's built off best practices. So one of the things we pride ourselves on at RegScale is we've got just some of the world's best SMEs in some of these areas, and we built it to just work out of the box. So rather than sort of a choose your own adventure like some of the Gen 1 GRCs where long implementations, build a lot of snowflake factories, they're very brittle, very expensive to maintain. Most of our customers are saying, look, you guys are the experts. Just give us something that's going to work, that gets it done faster, that gets it done cheaper, and leaves me in a better place than where I started. And so we can work backwards from that, but it's some common sense things. Like if you're going to have multiple regulations, let's get you on sort of a common control mapping architecture that we have in place. All that's built as code. Now let's do some automated evidence collection so you can get your assurance posture up. Let's start validating that. Let's connect to the telemetry you already have so the paperwork can largely start writing itself. Then let's figure out where you don't have enough humans to do the things you want to do, and let's let our AI agents start doing what those humans would do in a workflow. So your humans are just looking at how do I make risk-based decisions, but they're not being human gophers that are collecting data and doing all the drudgery that's historically gone into these types of jobs.
So it really drives to the decision.
Yes.
And not getting mired in the paperwork of it.
Yeah, because that's why we collect all the data, is to get to a point of like, should I feel good about this or not, right? It just takes a lot to get there. We're trying to make all that toil and dwell time that you have there just go away.
Do you have a use case or case study or customer story you want to share where you help them compress or get better results than they were getting prior to working with RegScale?
Absolutely. We have one large government agency that's touting over $100 million of labor savings and what it took to historically do all this types of work. We have another Department of War that's looking at 52-week average to get through this cycle end to end. They've been able to compress that by 36 weeks using our tech and some others that we've integrated with. So you're seeing just sort of massive savings in some cases. Other cases, what you're seeing is massive schedule compression. In all cases, what you're seeing is a better assurance posture that's lower risk, which I think every CISA, CISOs are risk officials. That's what they care about at the end of the day, is to protect the company or their organization. And so the risk outcome is always a guarantee.
Yeah. And the ability to communicate what it is to those that need to know.
Absolutely.
Whether it be internal at the company or external for cyber insurance coverage or whatever it is, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So what's the future hold for RegScale?
Yeah,
where are you headed?
We're continuing to grow fast. You know, we've the last 3 years we tripled, doubled, and doubled again. So I think our message and our platform's resonating in the market. I think we'll continue to focus on sort of the top of the market. So the largest, most complex organizations in the world, government, financial services, healthcare, high-tech companies. That's where we're kind of focused today. I think in the future you're going to see us go international, probably a fair amount of new markets we might go into, like energy sector seems to be a prime market for us as well. And so I think you'll just see us go more places and take this story into more highly regulated environments and try to find ways we can help.
Yeah. So the goal is to actually reduce and manage the risk.
Yes.
Not just report that you did something that hopefully did.
Yeah, not just to check the box so that you can sell, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't want your company to get breached. You don't want an embarrassing audit coming downstream, all the reputational loss that goes into those things. So it's trying to take what's a low value activity that you have to do and turning it into a high value activity that mostly takes care of itself.
Yeah. Common best practice.
Absolutely.
Why not apply that and use your team to do it? Travis.
Been an absolute pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thanks everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this conversation with Travis, and hope you connect with him on LinkedIn and the RegScale team, and stay tuned for more coming from ITSP Magazine here at Black Hat USA.